Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome to Squared Circle Society Live. I'm Flesh Wound Dan, joined by everybody tonight. Producer Todd.
Good evening.
Pugs Dread.
Namaste.
And Mike Kruger.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
So we're here tonight to talk the season finale of Dark Side of the Ring. Could be a series finale. I know Vice is in trouble, from what I understand.
Yeah,
so.
but they've already, I believe they've already said they found a new home, or it's happening.
Oh, good. I didn't know.
I do remember them talking about the next season still happening.
I mean, at this point, they should just do a fucking Dark Side of the Ring YouTube page and just fucking release it out there. Because that's it. I mean, it goes up there fucking, what, an hour after it fucking comes out anyways.
It's the most ripped off show on YouTube. It's like, you'll see like 50, and it's like 15 minutes after the show. It's amazing. Yeah. But shout out Jess Graham. What up,
Howdy.
Zombie?
Everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really excited for this one. I mean, I think it was the one everybody was stoked for since they announced it months ago. And yeah, I'm kind of curious just to get started. What are like your earliest Marty Jannetty memories? What made you, assuming you like Marty Jannetty, I know I do, in terms of his wrestling. What was your first memories?
I mean, for me, I'm a lot younger than you guys, so fucking the earliest memory is just seeing him in the promo package with Shawn Michaels for something fucking WWE was doing, and seeing Shawn super kick him and throw him through the glass. It wasn't.
Excuse me, stop. He ran and jumped through the glass. Bobby Heenan said it live on the broadcast. Shawn didn't throw him. He jumped through the glass.
Keeping kayfabe, nice.
But that was my first introduction to Marty Jannetty. But I was actually really happy that they covered his little comeback he had with Shawn, because I remember as a kid seeing that and being like, "Who the fuck is that guy? Like, what the fuck is like being so dumbfounded on what was happening?" And then my dad explained to me like, that's the guy he fucking threw through the glass. They used to be this big tag team, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't until like I started actually like wrestling and, studying tape and stuff that I started actually watching Marty Jannetty matches, or like when him and Shawn were tagging as the Rockers. But obviously, as everybody in the wrestling business did a few years ago when he started talking fucking super wild on Facebook, we were all like, what the fuck is going on? And he became, one of those wrestling entities that you're just, you're automatically drawn to because he's fucking
Train wreck. Yeah.
White Iron Sheik. There you go.
Hey!
That's not a bad thing.
No. You take that fucking back right now.
Speaking of that, do you remember that story that he told about Iron Sheik? I guess like KOing a hooker and then like sneaking up to his room because he knew the cops were coming and he had to hide in Marty's room. That's one of the many gems. Those two definitely had a lot of interactions. So.
Yeah, as far as this episode goes, though, I will say probably the most disappointing episode for me personally, because it just really gave me nothing. I knew every bit of this, and like there's other stories where I have known everything, but it just hit me on an emotional level, like Bam Bam Bigelow. I knew every single fact and everything that they've talked about in that episode. But it hit me on, a deep emotional level because I never got to see his kids and I never got to see his wife and all this. For Marty, it just was like, all right, well, I've already heard all these stories. And yeah, the dumbass shoots himself in the fucking foot 9 times out of 10. Yeah, maybe he's had some bad luck, but he's done it to himself. So it didn't really...
Yeah.
It didn't really like connect with me emotionally at all, nor did it give me anything like new. And out of all the episodes I've seen, I actually probably found this one the least entertaining.
You didn't see last week's.
Yes, I did.
Oh, did you see these last 2 episodes? Both of them are just spinning their wheels to me.
I
There's
thought
nothing
the
added.
Vince Russo one though was more interesting, at least for me, because of like the behind the scenes stuff, and not like again, I wasn't online at the time when all that shit was happening, so it was interesting to see the perspective of what the backstage stuff was. But with this, like, I've heard Marty Jannetty talk about his road stories 1,000 fucking times on shoot interviews, or even just talking on Facebook and stuff, and like it just gave me nothing. And then at the end, it's just like, okay, so what is there going to be some sort of redemption story or not? But it's just like, no, Marty's just a Marty, and we're just going to leave him here rotting with his fucking leg that's 3 times the fucking normal size.
And the funny thing is, the producers say they don't do modern stories because there's no end yet. There's no end on Marty Jannetty.
They ended the body. They couldn't find it. That's technically an ending. It's not a satisfying ending.
I mean Marty Jannetty. Like, that's his story's not done.
His story,
like doing Scott Hall.
Well,
like
Abdullah is he's still around, so they don't have to die.
But that story is kind of done, because it's like he lost the lawsuit. That was like the big focal point of the story and like the controversy behind it. With Marty, like this, the whole allegedly may have killed a guy or not wasn't like the big thing I was fucking interested in on this story. I was more interested in what the fuck were you talking about fucking your daughter, you sick fuck. And then they just brushed the fuck over it like it was I was hacked. That's it, motherfucker.
He was upset about that.
Wait, we're getting too far.
She wasn't his daughter, apparently. I mean, I don't know what the hell was
Woody.
going on with that.
Hold on.
It's creepy, but not his daughter.
We got sidetracked. Pugs, your first time seeing Marty. Let's finish this.
Oh, it is also the fucking the super kick. It's probably a video package, but I did like the Rockers, but that was like going back and watching it because it didn't register with me. It was always, oh, there's Shawn Michaels. There's Shawn Michaels and Diesel.
There's the new Rockers.
yeah. El who?
Leaf Cassidy, sir. Come on, get it right.
My bad.
I mean, that motorcycle where he knocks the guy in India.
That shit was fun.
That would have been a great DX segment.
I'm fucking glad that they caught that on video.
My gut says they were trying to film like an OJ prank video or something.
I have never seen anything like that. I've never seen that clip.
I have.
Idiots. That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Dude, I've seen many of men go fucking ass over handlebars being too drunk on their fucking
in a hotel in India though. Like,
no, that's
they're not
like,
women. They'll be all right.
That's more legendary part of it, is that it had it was in a hotel room, like, and the fact that the fucking doorman opened up the door for him, that's like the icing on the cake for me.
I do have some stuff I've heard about him over the years that I'll talk about. But Pugs,
all right, Todd, how did you first see Marty? We can't say a topic. Dan, go ahead.
I'm passing to you. That's what I was just doing.
Okay.
God damn. Go for it. Hot tag.
Yeah, I mean, what was his first WrestleMania, Dan? Or their first WrestleMania?
Ooh, I'm trying to remember right
5?
now.
Yeah, I want to say 5.
I know they're on 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. If they were in 4, I don't remember, but I 100% remember 5 as a kid. And growing up, it was always like Marty was the one everyone thought was going to like be the one to break out. So when it was actually Shawn, it was surprising, but he killed it. So, but like in general, I've always been a fan of Marty. Like every one of his comebacks, he had that WCW run.
I do wish he would have kept his shit together. I do think he would have been their version of a Shawn Michaels. And then after the
I don't know about that far, but
I
Russo would have put him in the same goddamn gimmick like they did it. Road Dogg's brother. He would have been the sexy man. See, we're one up.
I don't know if he was connected enough to get that kind of a push, but he was damn good. Yeah. Like in the early part of them teaming, I would agree he was the better overall wrestler. Now that certainly changed because I think HBK might be the best of all time. But in the early days, I definitely think Marty Jannetty was the better all-around wrestler. my memories as far as like first seeing him, it's a blur of just great tag team matches with Demolition, Orient Express, the Nasty Boys. Yeah, I mean, they had so many awesome matches. Had they have stuck together, I think they would have gone down as, who knows, maybe even the greatest tag team of all time.
I'm glad they didn't, though, if I'm being honest.
Well, no, they did. Sean was too good. Sean was just way too good.
And honestly, you would have kept them together another 6 months. I'm pretty sure Marty would have imploded.
Even if he hadn't, they might have teamed for a little while longer. But Sean, I think, was undeniable, and I think they knew it would have led to much the same ending, I think. And Marty did have success. I mean, he was an Intercontinental Champion. They had an unofficial tag team title win over Demolition that didn't count in the record books. And he had like such a fucking like good shot when Sean brought him back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Such a good shot of just being in a good he could have been like in that. Remember when D'Lo came back for a little bit? They let him have the IC belt for a little bit, but he was mainly there to elevate talent.
Is that when he was in the shorts, right?
No, he was in a singlet.
He was still in the scene, but it was like
this isn't the last time where they did nothing with him. Yeah, no, they brought him. Yeah,
they brought him back. Like I think it was like maybe 2009, maybe 2010, something around. Honestly, like not that far off when they brought in Marty. But like I felt like if he could have had that role that like D'Lo did, where he was there, he won some matches, actually won a belt, but it was mainly there to elevate younger talent. And Marty would have fit great in that role, but he couldn't stay away from the hookers and blow. So. What are you gonna
do? Erotic dancers.
Yeah, Dan, you just need to start becoming a fucking drug addict, and you'll fucking turn into Marty Jannetty.
I'm not as graceful.
He wouldn't have fought back in the alley.
I love. Yeah. Well, I just to keep it earlier on in the episode, but because we're going to get to that, but you did mention when he came back. Now, over the last 15 years or so, 20 years. When he came back and he had that great match with Kurt Angle, and granted it is Kurt Angle, that was a huge mark out moment for me. I was like, we're finally going to get that. I mean, that would have been a rocky run. I mean, he wouldn't have been world champion. He wouldn't have main evented pay-per-views, but I think that would have been an amazing story had it have been able to go forward. And then you do the turn, they have a singles match. He could have probably had a classic match with Sean at that point still, who was firing on all cylinders. It's such this one is just so sad to me because he really didn't do anything of note after WWE, because WCW, he had some good matches, but he was just there. Like a lot of people were just there.
Got his own way.
Yeah, I mean, dude, at the end of the day, this is an addict story. I mean, that's what it is. And when you're an addict and you're also in the wrestling business, sometimes it works out fucking great, but more times than not, that addiction gets in your way of your success. And you don't think it while you're doing it, but you look back on your whole fucking career and you see that you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again. It's like, when are you going to fix the actual problem, bro?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And he can still fix it. I mean, there's no grand wrestling comeback.
No, definitely not. But if he got his fucking ankle fixed, got sober, started working out again, he could fucking come back and do what Rick and Morty's doing. And all of them, for whatever reason, I haven't seen fucking Marty Jannetty work in years, so I don't know how bad his matches were on the independent circuit.
Not bad, and I saw some. He'd go hard. That was
so that's what I'm saying. Like he could have that fucking Ricky Morton type of spot on the indie wrestling, and I mean, for fuck's sake, dude. I can already see Joey Janela versus Marty Jannetty in a fucking match at some point in GCW. If he could get healthy again, I mean, he's 63. So, like, that's, a big ask. He's way older. But Hey, if he actually got his shit together, I would be fucking more than happy. And goddamn, I'd buy a fucking pay-per-view just to watch that.
He could still go. I saw him on the indie circuit, and granted, this is over 10 years now, or close to it. He would still try and work like he was. I mean, I hate to say a proper match, but he wasn't doing the Nikolai Volkov thing where he wouldn't take a bump. And I'm not expecting guys like that to take bumps on small shows in front of 30 people. But Marty
on WrestleMania in the Battle Royal.
Marty would.
Cliff Booth has entered the chat, guys. He's killing
it. There you go, Pugs. You can read
I heard his ankle looked at Ferruza in the eye and it turned to. Oh my God.
Jesus. But I did see him. He was a guy who still tried to work like he was 30 years old. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated it because, and he wasn't bad. Like, he wasn't bad. His ankle has been a mess for a long time. I think, God, years now that he was talking about that and he couldn't move.
Right now, it looks bad.
Dude, when the doctor said, he was asked on a scale of 1 to 10, and he goes 12, I'm like, that fucking sucks.
Well, you can see it. I mean, you can see he's probably in pure misery right now.
You know what makes me really upset, though? And, like, call me a bad guy for this. I don't know.
Razor Ramon.
When you have motherfuckers like Shawn Michaels, who has all the motherfucking money in the world, you don't fucking help your boy out that fucking gave you that first fucking put.
We don't know if he's offered, and maybe Marty's too prideful. But I am 100% with you because if any of you got hurt, and I would do my best to help out. So I would like to think since he found God and bullshit, he would have that in him.
But he did get him the WWE job.
I get that. Fuck all that. Dan. Yeah. No, hold on. Fuck all that.
I think you're just talking about bills,
At the end of the day, when your fucking leg is triple the size of your other leg and you have to be wheeled around in a fucking wheelchair, and this motherfucker is over there fucking coaching people in NXT, and he's been making all that fucking cash for all that. Like, just me personally, it bothers me because when you brought up in wrestling, you're always taught about this fucking, it's a brotherhood. We all take care of each other. Bullshit. But then when you have motherfuckers like this whose fucking ankle's about to fucking rot off, you're not helping them. Like, that's bullshit. And it makes me sad. And, I've seen so many wrestlers I mean, you guys remember what the fuck happened to Kamala?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just like, you guys, some of you motherfuckers have millions of dollars in your fucking bank account. And you can't throw fucking a little charity to somebody that helped you out in your career. I mean, I just think that's fucking dog shit.
Chris Jericho has been good about that. I will give him credit. Like, every
indie listen to that horrible Fozzy music. He should be giving someone money for that.
No, I just want to call out somebody who doesn't advertise it, but he has contributed to just about every fundraiser for a wrestler.
We also know what else he contributes to. So
how's the wife?
But,
you know, if Necro Butcher ever gets hurt, homeboy is fucking gonna send a nice fat check.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it is a story of a guy who, I mean, he can't put his issues, I think, on anyone. There were some cold moments.
What is that called? The God's always whatever.
Yeah, his whipping boy, basically, and it was
what was the phrase?
I don't remember exactly, but he was definitely his own worst enemy. Mm-hmm. There was some coldness. Vince McMahon telling him, "We don't see you as a star," right in front of Shawn Michaels. I mean, that's cold.
He's just being honest, though. Like I prefer that actually.
That's the way
that's wrestling. That's wrestling. Yeah. You have to really be strong mentally to make it in wrestling because it's not a nice business. That's the cold fact, and he just told him like it was.
I know.
And yeah, I mean, and he's a funny guy. Like, you can't
get him in the writer's room.
People like him.
Fuck yeah, I would hang out with him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, if he's got to be a little more coherent for sure.
If he's in the chair, we're good. I'll just wheel him.
We're getting fucked up together, brother.
That's
Come on, I'll wheel your ass all around Vegas, Marty. Let's go.
Did you laugh that like it seemed like Brutus Beefcake and his wife wanted to have an uncool three-way with him?
I think Beefcake wants to get cooked.
I think Brutus wants to jerk off why Marty fucks his wife and then comes on her tits.
Have a good time.
Well, since Hogan won't do it anymore.
He can titty fuck her with the angle.
Well, actually, that's Bubba the Love Sponge. That did it for Hogan.
Yeah, I thought that was funny how they didn't just say Bubba the Love Sponge in that episode. It's I mean, just say his name. That's the show he was on.
Yeah, it was weird though. She was like, "I'd flash you, Marty, but." You know, there's. I don't think they would like that on the camera or whatever the fuck she said.
Old biker babe.
I'm like,
oh, the old stripper definitely too.
Yeah, 100%. But also,
stripper.
Dude, goddamn, does
Brutus,
Brutus
33?
Does Brutus the Barber Beefcake look like fucking dog shit?
To be fair, he does have a surgically restructed face. When I was a kid, I loved Brutus Beefcake. I remember.
I liked him a lot too, but god damn, brother, times were not nice to you. He got like fucking. He looked like a bald chinian.
I would also hang out with him though. He seems fun. Like they just seem like a fun couple.
Yeah.
Let's hope to God, like
you're definitely gonna end up bagging him.
Dude,
you know that, right?
there were.
I could do
a lot of those guys were like wife swappers. I mean, it's pretty well known. Eric Bischoff and DDP were swap buddies.
How about fucking Jim Cornette passing off that fucking wheel of the Big Show?
No, she was with Big Show before Cornette.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, Cornette passing the fucking beluga whale off to everybody is fucking pretty disgusting. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. Fuck Jim Cornette. I'll insult his wife all I want.
I want to see the Cornette Kruger feud. Listen here, motherfucker.
When that cocksuck, dude, you're gonna get me fucking fired.
Careful.
When that motherfucker pulled that bullshit with G Raver. I'm gonna get serious here for a second. When you have a motherfucker that almost died during a fucking spot, and he fucking lost every fucking thing he had because of that fucking wrestling match, and you're sitting there fucking mocking him and all this bullshit, and then in retaliation, what does the dude do? He fucking does business, and he makes a fucking stupid shirt about your with your severed head on it with tattoo needles stuck in it, and then you fucking sue him. You're a pussy. I fucking hate Jim Cornette so fucking much. Like, he's right about a lot of shit in wrestling, but the way he directly attacked a wrestler that was down, and that shit could have went bad. It could have went really, really fucking bad, and I fucking have seen it happen to a lot of fucking people in the deathmatch wrestling scene. He could have set that motherfucker over the edge, and that was the one thing when that shit was happening, it really bothered the fuck out of me.
Van Grin, yes, go off on Cornette. Too many people worship everything he says.
Well, it's just like, as a deathmatch wrestler, dude, I'm always going to be fucking with my boys. And G-Raver, no matter what the fuck has come out about him over the years, that guy is my fucking boy. He fucking saved me from having to go to the fucking hospital with my match with Slack and fucking super glued my hand fucking back together. I fucking love that guy to death, and I fucking feel terrible that he went through all that shit. And then just to see the way he came back to wrestling and then all that shit happened to him, it's fucking horrible. Can you imagine the mental psyche on that guy? And then next thing you know, you have 20,000 of these fucking cocksucking Jim Cornette motherfucker. I have to like try to censor myself. But you have 20,000.
That's what I was like trying to.
You have 20,000 of these cocksucking Jim Cornette ball worshippers that are fucking up his fucking ass too. By being injured, he couldn't tattoo for a really fucking long time, which was his job because he had nerve damage in his hand after having that fucking injury. Jim Cornette's a fucking fat piece of shit for that shit, and I will never fucking forgive him for that.
There you go. That can be a short. Jim Cornette is a fat fucking.
Yeah, he's a good historian, though. I'll give him that. I really
I co-sign
on that Russo episode. That would have been interesting, but
Oh hell yeah!
How did they not have Cornette on the fucking
I'm
Russo
assuming
thing?
Eric and Vince were like, nah.
yeah, he probably wanted them to do. Yeah, that could have been a condition. Yeah, we'll do it, but don't fucking bring Cornette on.
I'm not gonna lie though, the funniest thing that I can picture in my head is just Cornette, creepy Cornette, just like sitting in the corner while Batista's like banging his wife. Can you imagine?
If it gets him a push.
Only the tennis racket covering his boner, and like Batista's just sitting there wailing away.
I don't think that's where the tennis racket's going to be.
Jane John McEnroe. Oh, that's a good point.
He's flogging himself with it.
He's poking Dave in the ass with it while he's inside his wife.
Exit only, Jim.
Back to Marty.
Allegedly. All allegedly.
Speaking of putting things in places that shouldn't be, let's talk about the alley.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna real quick. Yes, I think he killed someone.
We can do a vote after we tell after.
And I'll tell you why.
Well, why don't we do the vote?
We can do it now.
Dan does social cues.
Okay.
Okay, so Dan obviously thinks he did it. Pugs?
Yeah, he totally did it.
Kruger?
I'm 50-50 because of all the crazy shit he's spouted off over the years. And I know workers, if you can get a fucking goddamn like little bit of fucking publicity for some bullshit you make up, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that maybe the situation happened, but I don't think he killed the guy and fucking burned him in some fucking lot somewhere. Especially with there being no missing person report. I mean, he said the guy worked at the bowling alley, didn't he?
No, he was working at the bowling alley.
No, he was working. This was, I believe, just a dude, if I remember right, that kind of got creepy with them.
Yeah, I'm team vote that he did it too, because the story doesn't seem as outlandish as his other outlandish ones. It's a little too grounded, and the fact he's been telling it so long kind of makes me just like.
And
I mean,
embellished, sure. I think he's made it bigger as the time gone on, but yeah, I did think he killed the dude.
He's legit upset about it. Like, he's not faking.
And good for him. By the way, if he's being attacked, by all means.
no, for sure.
If it happened the way he was saying, I don't.
That's what I question. I think he could have very easily added a detail to make it seem more justifiable. That's
a 14-year-old is being attacked by a 200+ pound man. Go for it, dude.
But did he just? Was it a drug deal just gone bad though?
Probably. He probably had more on him. Yeah, I do think there are other things going on, but
yeah, I mean, like
justifiably.
And I hate to like break shit down like this, but I mean, could have been a situation where he was going to buy fucking blow off the guy, and the guy was just like, "Oh, you don't have enough money? Well, here." And
Zombie says, "Who fucks around with bowling alley employees?"
Right.
This is true, dude. Like, I don't know if it's the same out in LA, but every fucking bowling alley out here in Arizona is like a cesspool. It's like in the fucking heart of the ghetto. It's fucking away, and it's always just like super fucking shady anytime you go there.
That reminds me, we got to go bowling when you're down here.
I'm actually going bowling on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not good, but I have fun bowling. I mean, if you look and go back at some of the interviews where he talks about it, there's a few points where you can kind of tell, like, it bothers him, and it's hard to fake that. Number one, and we also have to remember in this episode, this wasn't some new story he just made up. Al Snow heard about it. His sort of ex-girlfriend.
I liked her.
Who said that most of the time he's full of shit. She said he said that years ago, and he's not faking. Like, she said, legit upset about it. It wasn't
St. Louis girlfriend, right? That she was.
It's St. Louis girlfriend. Yeah, probably. Honestly, somebody he'd be better.
I'm curious. Like, I don't think he didn't get sexually assaulted. I don't want that to fucking be out there. I think that probably happened, but I don't know if he actually killed a man and got
right, because the emotion would still work without that too. So I get where, and
I think like being a part of that time period, right? Like, you say that you got sexually assaulted by another man. People are going to look at you a certain way. So maybe he's embellishing the fact that he killed him afterwards, and that did happen. That's kind of like his way of coping with it.
Yeah, possible. That is possible.
Like I mean, I know it was a different time back then, but I find it hard to believe that he was just able to get rid of somebody that easily. But
back in the day, dude, it wasn't as hard as it is now.
No, I get that, but I don't know. There's something in me that feels like that person is probably still around, and like Marty just didn't want to seem like, you know, he was a vulnerable person in that moment, and maybe embellish the story a little bit. Like I believe parts of the story, but I don't know if I buy that he killed this person. The person went missing.
But we all believe the Rock bash.
But yeah. I mean, I could see that, but like I could see it as a situation where like maybe he got this guy off of him, or you know, maybe something.
How?
Or, damn. Poor choice of words. But, like
phrasing.
Yeah, I think like I just with his story too. I mean, there was no actual like, yeah, he grabbed dude's dick, but like there was no like actual assault that Marty is talking about. You know what I mean? It's not like the guy
unwanted contact is this. He grabbed his penis. It's
no, but I'm saying like this guy didn't fucking like full blown. And like, I wonder.
Story if he did.
R word, bring it down.
Sorry, but you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot more to that story, and just being from that time period, maybe he's not telling 100% of the truth. And I do have a feeling that some of the like, I killed the guy who tried doing this to me is some sort of coping mechanism that happened. I don't discount that he probably hit him in the head with a fucking rock and booked it out of there, but I don't know if he actually, you know, was at 14 was able to construct.
Well, he said he went to his family. I don't think a 14-year-old Marty Jannetty disposed of that body.
No, definitely not. But I don't know.
There's a machete and a chainsaw. I'll take it apart.
I put myself in. If you're in a situation like that, probably the first thing you would do is go to family member, trusted friend, maybe. But that would probably be the first thing you would do.
Jason Lima is saying he kind of alluded to dumping the guy in the Chattahoochee River.
Chattahoochee River, yeah. And honestly, look, there's a lot of unsolved murders out there. The bodies in like the Pine Barrens, and you know, it's not. He doesn't have to be a criminal mastermind necessarily to get rid of a body. Obviously, this guy was a piece of shit. I doubt
100%.
People were looking for the guy.
One less of them to worry about.
33.
This is why you listen live or sign up for the Patreon.
Sorry, Todd.
At least it's not the other word from that other video.
Yeah.
Yes.
My dad's all concerned.
But obviously, yeah, I think something did happen. And I also wanted to throw out there, I'm not going to actually say the name because the person is dead, but this story, it's not just Al Snow. And I'm going way before this shit came out. There was somebody else, at least, that I knew was aware of it. Not all the details, but had made comments about Jannetty and, you know, hiding bodies and shit that in retrospect, you know, kind of, yeah. So this story was out there before. And you know, a lot of empathy too, because if it did happen, that also explains a lot of things. Killing someone is a very tough thing. Even if it's a complete scumbag that was attacking you, you had no choice. It's still a tough thing mentally. Look at Scott Hall. Scott Hall, you know, killed that guy at that bar. And he had a lot of trouble over that. I mean, there were a lot of other things with Hall too, but that also really adds into something. I mean, can you imagine disposing of a body of a guy
I
that
do
tried
that
to assault
every
you.
fucking day. Well, not just for assault, but like I imagine that all the time, Dan. It's not that hard for me.
Yeah. I mean, that would definitely warp you. And I don't know. I'm still rooting for the guy. I do kind of
100%.
I'd like to see him get healthy. He's got to let go of the party lifestyle because you can tell he still desires that. I respect him as a guy who always went hard. Also on those shows with like 50 people, I was at some of those. That dude did not work like a WWE legend where he just came in and did a couple of his spots and that was it. That dude was bumping. That guy was still trying to really have a match of the quality that he had before.
I don't know. I didn't think about it this till now. We could have had his former tag team partner from the New Rockers, Louie. They tagged in the UEW arena.
Did they really?
I'm not aware.
As the New Rockers. It wasn't in UEW.
The same Louie I fucking murdered?
Yes. They were the new
allegedly. He's still around.
Yeah, not that
not that type of murder.
Yeah.
Murdered in the
ring. In ring destruction.
There we go.
I mean, it was a bad one, dude.
You fucked his ass up. That was awesome.
He shares photos every once in a while. Yeah, I haven't. I looked for the clip to see if I could pull it, but yeah, it's in the UEW arena. It might have even been that one.
It was probably UIPW, right?
Yeah, it was that one, or it might have been the other one, and I can't think of the name.
The fun one.
I can't remember the one that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah. I hope the best for Marty because that his mind's super creative. He loves telling stories. Get a writing gig or go on the road, and when you're healthy enough, start telling stories like Mick Foley and Undertaker. I think you got it, dude.
Jake Roberts, one-man show. The guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think more of these guys should be doing that sort of thing. Not stand-up exactly, but just a bunch of them together telling stories.
That would be awesome to put a tour together like that with some of the older dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
You're leaving money on the table, Marty.
Yeah, and a lot.
I don't want to wrangle those guys.
Yeah, can you imagine having to get all those guys?
I don't even like to deal with the youngsters. Imagine the old fucks.
But don't go to the titty club. Just go to fucking Applebee's afterwards. Like make it. Don't get too wild.
That's not happening, bro.
Then he's going to get too handsy at the Applebee's.
Yeah,
he's gonna get cut off on the dollar Bud Lights.
I wish they had dollar Bud Lights, motherfucker. I'm shit to like still $4.
Yeah. So I mean, I will say he's still alive. He can still pull things together, and it's it's tough. And I get it. Like I can only imagine like you start out with a guy basically like Shawn Michaels. He goes on to become the biggest thing in fucking wrestling. That's tough. Now, Shawn Michaels is not responsible for what happened to him, though.
Oh, absolutely not. He shot himself in the foot every single time.
Yeah.
And, like, granted, that's probably due to all the fucking mental strain that wrestling did to him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you got to pull yourself out of that shit and just try to fucking get better. You can't sit and blame God and say, fuck you, God, for doing all this shit to me. Like that's no way to live your life. You gotta fucking kind of take some responsibility for your own actions. And I think that's like his biggest issue is he kind of just chalks it up to I've been dealt a fucking shitty hand. And like, granted, guy probably has in life in general, not just with wrestling.
He was on that injury with the rocker dropper on Chuck Austin. I think that I was looking at and I was like, that was not his fault.
No.
I don't agree.
Dude Spike bumped himself like straight into the mat like an idiot.
Like
take a flat fucking front bump, you idiot. Like what are you doing?
I really do love how they brought in Dean Malenko's like because everyone here respects the shit out of him, but like the courtroom didn't give one fuck. Like who's this guy? Why do we care?
Yeah. Well, I did crack up too that they had to demonstrate the move in the middle of the courtroom. That's fucking hilarious.
And then the lack of pop bothered them. Well, then did they expect the jury to fucking
you just have him go like full heel. He just like knocks like some papers out of it.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's going to end good or bad?
bad.
I hate saying that. He's
Okay,
somebody. I don't know.
Let me reword it. Do you think there's a way he can pull himself out?
Oh,
he
yeah.
could 100% pull himself out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you've been in that cycle of just doing this shit over and like you have to think about this. How old was he when he fucking ended up getting fired from WWE?
The first time or the
second time? And
30s? I don't remember what age.
Not even that. Yeah. Well,
yeah. So you have
he was
like
always the older one.
So you have like a 30-year cycle of that shit. That's very hard to break when you've been doing stuff that long.
And I don't think he's done with the rock and roll lifestyle. That's the one issue. Like you can tell he still craves it.
Todd, get your pen ready. I don't know. This is a little icy. I do think it will get better and brighter.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Get work on his pain levels, which obviously are insane. And I really do. There's money to be made with like a traveling thing. These guys shouldn't be taking bumps at 60 or doing anything really in the ring at that age. Just traveling show. You get Jannetty, Pat Tanaka, who we didn't talk about, but on this episode, who also looks like he partied hard, although he looked healthy and everything.
I think he can get around on his own.
We have to remember, I mean, look at Shawn Michaels. He partied hard too, and he finally pulled himself out of it.
He was on death's door. People forget that when he got injured, like he was.
I don't remember him being on death's door.
Oh no,
he was bad.
100%.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like
Whisper
like
or whatever.
He was
your names. Yeah, he was doing the sleeping stuff. Where worried about him. Like he was full addict.
So okay. Okay, like accidentally, maybe not like on purpose.
No, I don't think.
One of my favorites of all time, but Sean was a piece of shit. Like,
does anybody deny that at all?
But let's be fair. 20 years old with that much, you're gonna be an asshole too.
but you're not gonna fucking destroy somebody's career like he did with Vader. You know what I mean?
That was fucked up.
I will not ever forgive Shawn Michaels for what he fucking directly
I do
did
call that impressive to make you're that small and you're making this big man cry. That's fucked up, but that's impressive.
I mean, it's impressive, but fuck, dude. Like, Vader still will never get the credit that he deserves as being the best big man that's ever.
Vader should have just shot him.
Let me ask you that. So I was thinking this because you weren't on the episode. So you think Vader is a better big man than Bam Bam?
100 fucking.
I was just curious,
dude. Like, you have to understand Vader's body of work. His WWE run is trash. Everything in that fucking run doesn't matter when it comes to Vader's career. Everything that Vader did was in WCW and in Japan. Yeah. And in Japan, that motherfucker was amazing. Amazing. And the matches he put on with Kenta Kobashi, Mitsuharu Misawa, fucking Gary Albright. I mean, he put on some of the best matches of all time as a big man. And I don't think anybody will ever get to the level that Vader was at, no matter what. I mean, you could be a big guy and be all jacked and chiseled, but that wasn't Vader's appeal. Vader's appeal was that he was just this big mastodon-looking motherfucker, and next thing you know, he's doing back handsprings over the fucking rope. He's doing moonsaults. He's, dude,
perfect proper moonsaults.
Well, yeah, and that's like my big thing between him and Bam Bam. Like, Bam Bam's definitely up there on the Mount Rushmore of big man in professional wrestling. But Vader, to me, just with the match qualities and the matches he had, and stemmed, I mean, up until like about 2003, he was having some fucking crazy matches in Noah, Japan, and fucking just go back.
Sting stuff.
Well, the Sting stuff back in the day, yeah. I mean, it was amazing. And then even towards the end of his career, one of my favorite Vader matches of all time is, and it's mainly just because Vader was so old and he couldn't really do much, but it was him versus Will Ospreay. And Will made this fucking guy look like a $1,000. And like it was the only time in, you know, since Vader had gotten older that Vader looked like old Vader again. And if you guys remember that whole thing, and we're going into Vader because I'm such a big Vader mark, but
I brought him up.
but back when Will Ospreay had that big match with Ricochet, and it was very spotty and very, you know, I mean, very indie. Let's just say that. And Vader talked shit about it, and he turned it into this angle where, you know, this UK company brought him in, and he got the face off with Will Ospreay. I mean, he killed it in that match. And I mean, mainly because Will Ospreay is by far one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. But it was really cool to see old, like one of those old, like that storyline of old grizzled vet saying, fuck this flippy shit, and then come out and massacre this guy. And like, even though Will went over in the match, Will like really respected Vader enough to let him go and just beat the shit out of him for a good fucking 8 to 10 minutes before he got his comeback and won. And I always think that was just like, that was like the last very cool Vader moment that we had in history. And that's why, and again, I think his body of work speaks for itself. If you can go down and see how many great matches he had, he goes down by far as the best big man that has ever been in pro wrestling.
I don't disagree.
Bam Bam is probably up there. I would put like Bam Bam over like a Yoko and all of them, even though Yoko is amazing. I mean, it depends on what you actually consider big man too. Are we talking 400 plus pounders? Are we talking 300 above? You know, it's a very
yeah. I was just curious on those two.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting close on this one. Anything else we got on Marty?
Just I hope Homeboy can pull himself out of this shit, and I really hope after people seeing this and seeing how like actually fucked his ankle and his leg is, you know, get a GoFundMe going for this guy so he can actually get that shit fixed and not be in, you know, crazy amounts of pain 24/7. I mean, just living your life like that. I mean, fuck, I can't even imagine being in that amount of pain with the condition that he's in. And, you know, that's just not a way to live life. So let's try to help the poor guy out and fix it. You know, he may not have been the greatest human being in the world when it comes to professional wrestling, but he sure as fuck has a very big contribution to professional wrestling for what he did with Shawn Michaels and what he did for the business in general. And I think that us as wrestling fans and wrestlers alike, we should help the guy out so he's not fucking, you know, in agonizing pain for every day of his life.
No, definitely.
No.
And my microphone and my camera went out.
That's all right.
Cornette hacked the shit.
He heard me talking about his wife.
So
maybe
guys,
maybe if they do a Kickstarter, you can get a date with the beefcakes on as one of the dance
motorboat.
You can get the other corner of the room.
Keep those shears over there where I can see them, beefcake. All right, guys. So we're gonna be live again in like 7 minutes. So tune in. We're gonna review Meg 2, and what up, GXH? How's it going? He was in WCW, and he had some solid matches. He didn't really have big matches, but you can go back.
He wasn't there long enough to have a big.
He wasn't. I always liked his sell where he'd get thrown like rib first into the ring post, and he sort of bumped it. It was, he went hard, and he doesn't get enough credit. So, but guys, we'll see you again in about 5 minutes on for a Meg 2 review, give or take. And
I am dropping the link in the chat so they don't have to go look for it. If they want to join us on the next show, it's right there.
There you go. Please do. And that's all we have. Patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures/Tober is coming soon. It's going to be awesome. So we appreciate all of you. It all starts at just $1. And join our Discord. once again, very active Discord, and you'll never miss a movie sale or an event. I mean, it's
a
a
movie
really,
trailer. I mean, we got all that shit covered on there. So
maybe that's why Pugs is never there.
join up. That's free, and the links are in this video and every video. Good night for now, guys. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Mr. Todd.
Good evening,
Mr. Kruger.
whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
All lives matter. I'll see you in Disneyland.